Just like some of the best companies started with 2 guys in their garage, and TAMID starts with a bunch of students.
It's a great way for us to be involved in such a large movement of Israel and innovation and small businesses growing, and it's just a great opportunity. I'm excited. I'm so excited.
In Hebrew, the word TAMID means always, eternal, or everlasting. And basically, the goal of TAMID, the organization, is to build a relationship with Israel that is always eternal and everlasting.
TAMID is an organization that can be the engine behind the next generation of American commitment to Israel. Through its direct engagement, through its consistent education, and through its application of its members to the Israeli economy, we find that we're engaging a new demographic and bringing them into the pro-Israel fold.
There are cultural ways to connect with Israel, religious, political, but there was something missing. And that thing that was missing was the professional engagement, right, with Israel, with Israel's economy, with Israel's entrepreneurial nature.
It's a very real experience, and it's something that the David Project is very excited about and that we're inspired by, because that's what we really encourage, is to connect students on campus who may or may not know anything about Israel to Israel in some way.
It's a 3-phase program of education, business application, and at Michigan that means investing and consulting, and then the opportunity for a fellowship in Israel.
We're cultivating a network of people who support Israel, not only from an abstract perspective, but from a practical and direct one as well.
What the education means at every school is different. Some schools are focusing more on advertising or like a more intense finance opposed to consulting and strategy focus, but the essence is that they're learning, and they're learning business basics through the scope of Israel.
What you're seeing probably over the last 5 years or more, you're seeing really true Israelis now run these incubators.
It's real experience. So the education is the first semester in the organization, and we go through the curriculum. Sort of outline is Israeli economic history, sort of a background why Israel is where it is. Then we go into business basics.
The consultant has information, is able to use that information and experience to implement different business solutions.
When I think of consulting, I think of people with knowledge, people with information, using that knowledge to solve nearly any problem in some innovative or progressive way.
Many of the companies that we do work with are startups and only employ 5 to 15 people, so it's value-added work both for us and for the company. On the other hand, we run a student-operated investment fund that focuses around investments in Israel-related stocks and securities.
Each meeting, we start off by just going over a recap of markets in general, what stocks are doing this week, big news points that happened this week, anything from politics to the economy to just general things that affect the way the world works. And then we spend a little bit of time on Israel in particular.
You learn everything that you learn in a typical investment fund, but you also learn it, bring it to another level and understand the ramifications that Israel have on the U.S. economy and vice versa. And I think you're looking at the economy from a more holistic view, which has been very beneficial.
You're actually working with real companies. You're dealing with real business issues. You're actually managing a portfolio, and that's something I've always wanted to do.
TAMID plays matchmaker between its members and the potential employers, and the students spend an entire summer living in Tel Aviv, working in Israel.
We kind of all live together in an incredible place where we're all able to kind of go out during the day, have our professional experiences, and then come back and share with each other. And then meet with some of Israel's, top business leaders and learn from them.
I was able to give this pitch about this organization I was involved with, and at the end, all of these CEOs and founders were lining up to speak to me and my fellow fellows. And where else does that happen? We're doing a summer fellowship after you're nothing little freshman, and they're lining up to talk to you about this amazing venture that's going on.
Everything is pretty flat when you're working in companies in Israel, or for the most part, and that breeds innovation in the ways that these people are looking to solve problems and thinking about problems far differently on a much more fast-paced and creative way than I had experienced before.
It actually started as a dorm room idea. In 2008, 2 of the founders, Sasha Gerbov and Eitan Engel, they were both at the time leaders of political groups on campus, both actually one from the left and one from the right. And they were very good friends, and they both realized that there was no sort of way for people to engage in Israel in a way outside of the conflict.
We're finding that we're engaging people who would have never been involved in anything Israel-related before. By replicating the program and bringing it to places where nothing like this has existed before, we're bringing in all of those new students who may have never found a form of engagement with Israel. In addition to the University of Michigan, TAMID is operating at Harvard, the University of Illinois, Penn State University, and California, Berkeley.
It's an entirely grassroots movement. That's the best part about it. It's been students at other schools have heard about it from a friend of a friend, they've seen it online, they've Googled how to get to Israel, and our name came up.
It started out with, little lunches, kind of coffee dates, as we call them, where we actually were able to just kind of sit very candidly, very informally, and talk to students who we thought might have been interested. A lot of these students we had in our minds, early on, in terms of people who kind of are engaged with Israel already, and who have that kind of, maybe business perspective on things, business economic perspective, but also a lot of names were thrown at us. Once people started knowing that, we were starting a TAMID at Berkeley, and once they started knowing what that was exactly, then we actually were contacted by other people who said, I'd be really interested in this, Jews and non-Jews alike, which I think is what's incredible about this, is that it appeals to a lot of people that would have really never, as I said, been otherwise engaged with Israel, and it gives them that opportunity.
Aviv and Brandon told me they basically pitched it to me as a startup, which is what it is here at Cal. Though there's a national organization, it's like, here's the space we want to fill up. Here are some guiding principles. Here's the idea. Now we need leaders, and we need people who are going to take this to the next level. And the opportunity to take up that position and just go with it was great.
I think that schoolwork is great, you learn a lot from that, but you also learn a lot from working with people, working with students, working with the CEO of a startup company. You learn through those type of teamwork experiences and those struggles.
It's so important to teach American students, Jews or non-Jews, about Israel's economy, because a lot of people are very unaware of the contributions Israeli firms have made to the world, as far as medicine, high-tech, clean-tech, you name it. They've made some of the most amazing contributions out of any other country.
Not only am I personally interested in Israel's economic growth and kind of the professional aspects of what Israel has to offer in the global context, but I think a lot of students might be missing out on Israel engagement because their needs are not necessarily met with the cultural, the political, and the religious. This reaches kind of a whole new constituency of students on this campus and on many campuses that wouldn't have otherwise been engaged with Israel. And now they have that opportunity through TAMID.
By joining TAMID and being a part of TAMID, you're learning skills that will be everlasting, things that you'll be able to take after you graduate school, when you're in the real world, be it business, be it not. When you think business, you'll think Israel.
And that's what it's all about for us. It's not just about a great program or a great talking point, but it's really about creating a relationship with Israel in some way that students find is organic and really helps them realize who they are.
It may just be making a small difference right now, but I know that the payoff down the line, when there are hundreds or even thousands of TAMID alumni working on Wall Street, working with consulting firms, working in the American business community, they'll look to Israel first when they're looking to make a deal. They'll look to Israel first when they want to send somebody for an international placement, and that to me is more valuable than any other experience I've had.